Welcome to Stories from the Roof from RoofersCoffeeShop.com, where we tell the stories of roofing professionals from around the globe. Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Ellsworth here at RoofersCoffeeShop.com, and I'm back again for a Stories from the Roof podcast. And I'm so excited because I have my dear friend Michelle Boykin here with Rackley Roofing. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Megan. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you as well. I'm very excited to get to chat and maybe learn some things about you that I don't already know. So let's dive in and have you just introduce yourself, your company, your position, and your journey through roofing thus far.
So my name is Michelle Boykin. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Rackley Roofing Company out of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm also the past chair of National Women in Roofing and currently the president of Crew Nashville, which is commercial real estate women. So a lot of women things in there. I've been in roofing for about 15 years, and I've been at Rackley for 13 of those. And I've done everything from receptionist to running our service division to now, running our leadership team, basically. So lots of stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't realize you've been at Rackley for 13 years. That's amazing. Congrats.
Mm-hmm. I started when I was 5.
Okay, that makes more sense now. I love it. So you got into roofing when you were 5. How did you get into roofing?
So, real story. I graduated college with a degree in accounting and decided that I never wanted to do anything accounting related by my senior year, but I did graduate. And I was in property management, and my husband is a realtor and was a realtor at the time that the market crashed in 2008. And so I was looking for him a job and looking in the newspaper as one did back in 2008. And there was this ad for an office manager, and that's what I was at the time, in property management office. And it said all these requirements that I had. And then it said Spanish speaking, not required, but a plus, and accounting, not required, but a plus. And I had just graduated with my accounting degree. And while I'm not fluent, I know enough Spanish to get by. And I said, this sounds perfect. So I applied and got the job, and I've been in roofing ever since, and I love it.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. I love that it just feels like that all aligned so conveniently. Yes. And now look at you.
Yes, it's awesome. I love it.
So who taught you about roofing? Who was one of your biggest mentors through this process?
Well, I have to mention someone that is special to both of us, Heidi Ellsworth. Heidi was very instrumental in my roofing leadership skills. She really pushed me to start a council in National Women in Roofing and really know my worth and know my value and all of that. So props to her for doing that for me and for countless other people. Actual roofing itself, my boss, Curtis Sutton, he was my boss's boss when I first started in roofing. He's now my boss and partner and business partner. Sorry, I need to clarify that. But he taught me a lot in roofing, and then also just learning from some of the field techs when I was in the service division. One gentleman named TJ Stinson actually taught me how to weld my first curb. So props to him for that. But yeah, so I've had a lot of folks that have taught me across, the years, different things, being on roofs, talking to different people, different trainings. But really, I would say Curtis Sutton and Heidi Ellsworth have been instrumental in a lot of my roofing knowledge.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. I love it. We love Curtis as well, and the whole Rackley crew. So, so what's one of the most valuable lessons you would say that you've learned, either about roofing or because of roofing for your life? What's a lesson?
I think I've learned a lot about myself and my value and worth. I think that not knowing anything in roofing and not understanding what I could know, for probably the first 4 to 5 years that I was in roofing, I never stepped foot on a roof. I didn't know that was an option. And once I did know that was an option, it was like, oh, well, the doors have opened. So understanding, what's available, what's out there, what I can do, instead of focusing on what I don't know or what I can't do has been huge for me. And that's helped me professionally. When I was in high school, I did a presentation in my English class or whatever it was. And I'm so introverted and I hate speaking in public. And so my face turned bright, like purple, broke out into welts to the point that my teacher stopped me and said, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you going to pass out?"
Oh
And
my God.
so my whole goal in life was to never do public speaking and never, speak in front of a crowd. And then I got into roofing and learned that to be a leader in this industry, you have to public speak. And the things that I can do now that my high school self would have been like, there's no way that she would ever do this. It's crazy and it's amazing. And it's really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I can't believe you broke out into welts, though. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's horrible, especially in high school when everyone is, you're already like, it's the worst time. Oh gosh, that's awful. But again, look at you now. You survived. You're thriving.
Yeah.
So
it's now part of my day-to-day job duties.
Yeah, exactly. Talking to the crew. If you were to go back and start at the very beginning of your career, maybe even before Rackley, what would you do differently, if anything?
I don't know that I would do anything differently. I think maybe I would have started learning about myself more. And, there's a lot of things that as you get into leadership, you learn personalities, you learn how to deal with people in certain ways. You learn that not everybody acts like you or works like you. So I think it would have been helpful to know that information earlier on in my career. But really the journey here, I don't think that I would change a single thing.
That's beautiful. Love that. So what would you say is the best thing you've ever done for your career or for your business, for Rackley?
The best thing that I've ever done for my career or for Rackley, I think joining National Women in Roofing and really taking a stance and leading that. That was big for me career-wise. Like I said, I never would have thought that I would speak publicly. Actually, the very first National Women in Roofing Tennessee Council meeting that I had was in conjunction with our Tennessee Roofing Association, TARC. They were wonderful. They gave us some free space and they came to the meeting and Trent Cotney was there. And it was the very first time that I met Trent Cotney. And I was so scared and nervous to meet this like famous, and air quotes, famous lawyer. And I was like, oh my God, he's here. What's he going to say? Well, I'd already prepared sort of, hey, this is who I am. And it was really the first time that I had spoken publicly since college.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, look, I'm an introvert. The last time I did this, I broke out into welts. Like, this is scary for me. But, this is a great opportunity for the folks in Tennessee to join. And after I got done, Trent pulled me to the side and he said, you did great. By the way, you didn't break out. And I'm the exact same way. And I'm going, what? You're like the famous Trent Cotney. What are you talking about? And he's like, oh yeah, same way. I get nervous in front of crowds and all of that. So that meant a lot to me. And so I think that helped me. And then also just all the things that being part of an organization like National Women in Roofing has done for our company and for me personally, knowing the people that I met, Heidi, Steve Little, Ken Kelly, some of those, greats that also were involved in other things like RT3. And then we won Innovator of the Year the very first year that they had that. And had I not been part of National Women in Roofing, we would not have known about RT3 and we may not have ever won that award. So all those pieces fit together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's what I love about roofing and what so many people love about roofing is how it can feel really big, but once you're in it, it's so small and everyone knows everyone. It's like a big family. It's so nice. And so that's really cool that you have had that experience.
It really is. I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and I feel like I've known you since you were little, even though I think you were in high school or maybe even in college when I first met you. But, we were joking that I get to see your brother next week. And while we love your brother, it's not the same as you and all of that. So it really is like a family. I'm excited to see James. And, so And we do. It's like you see each other at these events and you hug like you haven't seen each other in years, even though it might have been last month or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like no time has passed too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so funny too, like, because I think we did meet when I was in high school. So yeah, still a baby in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just so sweet to see you get like all the people that I know in roofing also grow up. Like I'm growing up and we're all just continually growing up.
Yeah.
So I love it. Okay, so in one word, describe the most important trait, what you think is the most important trait in an employee or a coworker.
In one word.
You could maybe do a small sentence too.
I would say humility.
Mm,
I think that encompasses so much of other things. And if you can have humility, you can pretty much get through anything.
yeah, that is so true. That's so true. And that really is the best trait in a coworker too, because the last person you want to be working with is the puffed up ego guy that's like, I know everything and blah, blah, blah. You can't teach me anything. And so having someone that you feel like you're on the same level with is always so nice to work with.
Yeah, and having the ability, usually when you're humble, when a group of people have humility individually, there tends to be a sense of trust that can happen. And so if I mess up, I'm okay with saying, hey, I messed that up. Here's how I'm going to fix it. Let's move on, or whatever that looks like. So yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so important. Okay, next question. These are just going by so fast. The best boss, we kind of already touched on this, but I'm just going to hit it again. Who's the best boss you've ever had, and what did they teach you?
Well, I guess I should say Curtis Sutton. No, I really would. Yeah. No, I would say Curtis Sutton. What has he taught me? Was that the question?
Yes. Yeah. What's like the most important thing he's taught you?
I think that he's helped teach me that I need to step outside of my comfort zone to grow as a human and to grow as an employee. And, he's pushed me to uncomfortable places to the point we joked. I was talking to Lee Lipniscus about this. It's been a long while ago, but we sort of came in and grew up together in the roofing industry, and now she's doing amazing things. But yeah, we were talking, and it was like Curtis tends to not only take me to the cliff, but then he kind of kicks me off of it, and I have to figure out what's next. And so it's scary sometimes, but I think it's good. And I think that, he's there cheering me on along the way. So it's been great. And I mean, I wouldn't work for him for 15 years if that wasn't the case. So it's been good.
That's great. I love that. That's so funny because, I mean, I don't know Curtis super well, but I know him well enough to totally see him kicking you off the cliff. Most loving and like, you're going to do this kind of way.
Yep, exactly.
I love it. This next question is my favorite question that we ask in these podcasts. And that is, what makes you smile when you think about your job?
I don't know how I would have answered this 6 months ago or a year ago. But now my answer is the impact that I can have on others. And I don't mean that in like a boastful way.
Right. Yeah.
I've always kind of looked at it like sometimes it stinks to be the token girl. And not that I'm that now, but I did feel like that a lot, along the way. And a lot of times, still I'm seen as somebody thinks I'm the sister or the wife of Curtis, which I'm not. Or they think that, somebody thought he was my dad, whatever. There's no relation. But a lot of times there's a sort of thought that a woman in roofing can't be anything more than a secretary, or she's related somehow or whatever. And I was actually at my son's birthday party back in September. And one of the parents came up to me and said, I want you to know that you mean so much to my daughter. She looks up to you. And she wants to be you when she grows up. And I'm like, really? But it was the moment that I realized that it wasn't just me working day to day and me, putting in the grind. Other people were watching. And so that changed my perspective on everything and how I handle myself and how I look at things. And those moments that I'm like, oh, here we go, I got to do this thing, or I got to, you know, be on stage or whatever, I'm making a difference for some little girl. And so to be able to continue to do that means a lot to me. So that's what makes me smile.
My gosh, I'm a little teary. That is so powerful. I can't even imagine being told that. How, because kids are just so truthful and so
Yeah.
honest and genuine. And so getting a compliment like that from a child is beyond, like, they mean that from the bottom of their little heart. So that, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so beautiful. Oh, I love that.
Thanks.
Wow, that I just can't get over that. That is so cute, so sweet. I hope that little girl grows up to be a COO as well.
Me too. And she always has a job here at Rackley as soon as she turns 18.
Oh, cute. Love that. Okay, so maybe this next question goes out to her. Any tips for new people starting out in roofing?
Yes. Don't be afraid to try. Whether that's you are afraid to get on a roof, because sometimes, especially like in the office folks, they don't know that they can get on a roof or that they want to get on a roof. Do it. You want that promotion, apply for it. You want to learn more, do it. Like, just go, do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. We just had one of our writers went up on a roof for the first time. She started with us a couple months ago, and now she's hooked. Once you're on that roof, there's no going back.
Yep.
So get up there.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it too.
Relentless sun, torrential rain, severe heat, and cold. Commercial roofs face no shortage of extremes, and the true test of any roofing system is how it stands up to these conditions over a long lifespan. The Johns Manville PVC formulation has proven itself time and again, protecting airports, manufacturing facilities, educational buildings, stadiums, and retail structures across the continent and continuing to pass the test of time. Johns Manville offers one of the most comprehensive guarantees in the roofing industry. That's the advantage you can expect from a long-time, dependable leader with the financial backing of Berkshire Hathaway.
So, the sponsor of today's episode is Johns Manville, who we love. They're great. Let's talk a little bit about how important the relationship between manufacturer and roofing contractor is. What's that relationship like?
It is a must that there's some trust and transparency and relationship there, especially after COVID when all the material shortages happened. If you didn't have a relationship with your manufacturer, I don't know how you survived.
Yeah.
There were some tough conversations that we had to have with our manufacturers. Hey, this material doesn't exist anymore, or it's not going to be here for a while, or the cost has skyrocketed. And without that trust and that relationship, we wouldn't have survived. And folks like, Fernando Milanes at Johns Manville, like that, they're huge. They're so impactful in that. They really help to bridge the gap when it comes to concerns or training or pricing or whatever that is. If you have that relationship with them, you can pretty much get anything that you need to get done. You just have to sometimes be, especially with, we're past the material shortage now, but in that material shortage time, it was like, let's get really creative on what we can do to make things happen. And you had to have those relationships to do that. So we really appreciate our manufacturers, including Johns Manville.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, man. Yeah. Just thinking back to, I guess, 3 years ago now, that was what a crazy time that was. And so glad that all of our roofing friends made it through that and are still afloat. Wow. Crazy to think about. That's 3 years ago now. So kind of going off of that, how important is ongoing training and continued education for not only you, but your employees at Rackley?
I don't know who coined the phrase, but it's if you're not learning, you're dying.
Oh.
And I truly believe that. If you're not learning, you're just, 1 foot in the grave. learning is what keeps us moving and growing and continuing and being excited about stuff. So I think a lot of times, especially with trainings, like this, let's take manufacturer trainings. There's a new product or there's an old product, but they're teaching you how to use it. You may already know how to do it, but there might be that one little nugget that you didn't get the first 10 times you heard it, whatever, and you pick it up and all of a sudden it changes your world. I was recently at an event for one of the softwares that we use, and we've been using the software for like 13 years. And they said, yeah, you just click this button and you do this. And I had no idea. And I'm like, this just saved me hours, And so sometimes it's those little things that you never would have picked up on. And you're like, I'm going to do this training for the millionth time. But you learn, and it's always worth it. So training is essential. And every single person in your company needs training. It may not all be the same training, but every single person in your company needs training.
Oh, I completely agree. And man, tips and tricks like that they really do. They can save you hours. We have a professional development coming up here at Roofers Coffee Shop, and it's all about Outlook 101. And I feel like I'm going to learn so many shortcuts, and it's going to make my day so much more efficient. I'm actually very excited for it. So yes, I love everything you said about that. If you're not learning, you're dying. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, somehow we've already reached the last question. Thank you so much for chatting with me. This has been so fun. We love Rackley, and I love you. You're the best.
Thanks. I love you too, Megan.
Okay, so how long have you been following Roofers Coffee Shop? And what's your favorite thing about RCS?
I don't know how long I've been following Roofers Coffee Shop. Probably 15 years or however long I've known of Roofers Coffee Shop. I've been following it. I've actually been an influencer.
Yes.
So I've written some articles for you guys before. And I think my favorite thing are the podcasts. Not just because we're on a podcast right now, but I love listening to podcasts. That's how, like, when I'm getting ready in the mornings, when I'm driving into work, if I'm driving somewhere, podcasts are my go-to. And to be able to get either a quick snippet from y'all that's, hey, here's a 2 or 3 minute quick snippet on something, or those longer podcasts where it's a read, listen, watch, and I can learn all that I need to learn and really keep the finger on the pulse of the industry, I think is important. So for me, that's the biggest piece that's helpful, and I can listen to it on my own time. I can binge it if I need to, all those things.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. Yay! We love podcasts as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for joining me here on Stories from the Roof. It's been so amazing hearing a little bit more about your story and Rackley's story. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate it.
Yeah. For all of you listening out there, if you're a contractor and you want to share your story, go to RoofersCoffeeShop.com and reach out to us through the sign up tab on the page, and we will get you on the podcast. We want to hear all your stories and everything everyone has to say. So make sure to subscribe and hit the follow to get all the updates on when we post, and we'll be seeing you next time on Stories from the Roof. Thanks for listening to Stories from the Roof from RoofersCoffeeShop.com. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review.